Okay, this is my second take. And I promised myself I wouldn't do a reshoot. But the doorbell rang, the dog walker came. So genuinely, there was a disruption that needed to be removed. I'm fairly sure that I missed an email somewhere. An email that said I was not qualified for this position. I've kind of accidentally landed in podcasting. And it's a bit of a weird one because it's not a job that you interview for. You just end up sitting in a boardroom filled with people that are paid to do what they do. And you're just kind of sitting there thinking, am I actually adding value here? Now, I'm naming this the chaos couch. And the chaos couch, it has two meanings. Obviously, I'm sitting on a couch and I'm being chaotic, which is authentically me. My brain is just a little bit unhinged. But also, my couch is chaos. You can't see the rest of it. There is stuff everywhere. The arm is a little bit broken, but that's another story. I have my notes here to keep me on track because my brain doesn't perform in a linear way. And it's very easy for me to go off track. So my bullet points here are to keep me focused and hopefully keep you engaged. Now, I nearly didn't do this because I'm suffering from what I'm calling podcaster's imposter syndrome, where I feel a little bit like I'm inconveniencing you, or I feel like somehow I'm disturbing your day. But also, we're 2 minutes in now. So if you're still listening, you've chosen to be here. This didn't happen by accident. You don't accidentally find yourself this far into a podcast. And frankly, that makes me suspicious. I have more questions. Now, I'm very, very early in my podcasting journey. I have 7 subscribers. So to you 7 people, hello again. And welcome to the Chaos Couch. This isn't how I normally do my podcasts. Because my brain is chaos. My normal style podcast is typically a script that I read out loud. And I just felt like it wasn't very authentic. Like, I love the scripts. I'm a very good writer, if I must say so myself. And I'm able to articulate things very well when they're written. When I'm speaking, it doesn't work as well. I sometimes forget those really important words that sort of hone in an emotion or a sensation of something that you're dealing with. So if this works, that's really great. If it doesn't work, that's also okay. This is more just a let's see what happens on the chaos couch. Like I said, I've got my bullet points. Hopefully, at some stage, I might be able to move away from them. So going back to the imposter syndrome, as a parent, it's very easy to have an imposter syndrome. But my imposter syndrome is not the kind that you would automatically think. Where you have situations like very, very like serious stuff, like emotional things that your child is dealing with. And you manage somehow to break through that emotion so well that the problem almost doesn't exist anymore after. And you kind of have this moment where you're sort of looking down at yourself and you're questioning, like, what actually just happened? Did I somehow confuse myself? Did I misconstrue the whole situation? Because this landed so perfectly that I've solved like a significant problem. And it actually happened to me last night. And I won't go into the details, but I had this moment where I was like, oh my God, that worked. And it's one of those strange things where as a parent, you most of the time are expecting not necessarily to fail, but you're expecting to have to revisit things a few times in order for there to be a conclusion that is acceptable to you as the parent. And when you break through that barrier so easily, it makes you second guess yourself. Because again, none of us are qualified. I'm not qualified to be a parent. I'm not qualified to be a podcaster. I'm just sitting here on the couch talking about how crazy life can be. So going back to the podcast, imposter syndrome, I feel like I need to say, if you're still here, like you're going to keep checking who's still here, because I find that quite interesting, frankly, and a little bit concerning. Like I said, you don't accidentally find yourself now 6 minutes into a podcast. But maybe that means that this could actually work. Maybe you'll find me on here again soon.